add to the language lab to have like a learning resource center here in the building. We have a little bit extra help so that we don't have to hire a tutor and pay, you know, $20 or $25 an hour to get the help you need if you need it.
Will there be like a schedule posted of like when people will be in here?
On the door there will be a schedule, and I think all it will, I don't know if it'll have names specifically,
Yeah, just I mean,
but it'll
times.
say like, yeah, it's supposed to be from now. Right now it's 4 to 7, and it'll, I know it'll be Tuesday and Thursday nights. I want to say it'll be Wednesday nights too. No, not Friday nights. The lab is closed, so there won't be anything then. And I want to say Monday is something else. Informational session?
Yeah.
All right. So that'll be something really helpful. You know, if you want to review or if you have questions, you can bring a laptop and like say, you know, having this putting on Vistas. I don't understand. I mean, if it was 11:15, for example, I don't understand why students are different and how they fit here, and then they'll kind of go through some of it with you. Which, I mean, obviously you can come to office hours anytime you want. Also, but if that doesn't work with your schedule, this is another really good option to get some extra help.
What's a good option?
They're gonna have action tutoring, free action tutoring here on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights from 4 to 7.
Okay.
So there'll be a peer learner and there'll be a teacher to help you work that. Well, Spanish related, of course. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Basically, I just want to talk about kind of the setup for the class. Some of the, you know, if you have any questions, talk about Vistas, a few new things that we're going to be doing this semester. The exam schedule, talk about some virtual office hours, some things I'm going to do to make it a little more interactive. And then I also want to talk about Limba Pronto, which is a new feature that Vistas just added and is super, super cool. Okay, so on Learn, hopefully you have all gone and done your quizzes and discussion, the first one, right? So everything up here, the content, there's a lot. Don't be overwhelmed, okay? All this stuff that you're seeing here with course information is just that. It's just information. Now, you asked about Audacity, and we have some of these here, how to set it up, you know, how to change, you know, save it to an MP3 and that kind of thing. That we're not going to use right now. If we're going to use it, I will email you and specifically say, we're going to use this is what we're going to do it for, here are the directions, that kind of thing. Is it helpful to get emails every morning, or are there too many emails so far? Are you guys feeling about that? Is that okay to have a reminder once a day? Now, I did send 2 today because I finally got the stupid voice post thing where it wouldn't work with my microphone. So you could hear it and read the directions, but probably you'll just get 1 every day in the morning or 2:30. Is that okay? Okay, just making sure to get some feedback. Down here with course documents, it's got stuff like how to add accents in your compositions. If you take an exam, you're going to be doing it within D2L, but in the lab physically here, okay?
So can we bring those like codes, like how to put in the Spanish I into here so we can type that in, or?
I will make sure that you can,
Okay.
because that's something that you don't necessarily need to have memorized.
Right.
But let me write that down, because we're going to have a meeting about that tomorrow.
Okay.
So let me accent code. Either where they have them printed
Yeah.
at the stations, or you guys can bring them, one or
Right.
another. But if you do bring them, you're going to have to show them your piece of paper,
Right.
you know, to make sure that it doesn't have anything else on it. But yeah, I will ask about that. Now, does everybody know how to add them in D2L if you type something in D2L? It's like to insert a symbol. There are the codes, you can always do that, okay? But there's another way that you can do it too if that doesn't work or if you don't remember, and I'll show you that, okay, after we go through this. Okay, so course documents, it's more information. Like I said, the accents, things like that. Okay, the intro and review, same thing. And then the chapters are basically set up to go page by page with the book. Okay, so you can use your book. There's sometimes more explanations, sometimes it's different, sometimes you have extra examples in the book, but it goes along pretty closely. So if it were me doing this, okay, if you go to say lesson 8, and all of these will show up, like lesson 9 is hidden right now, but on the 8th when it starts, it'll show up that, you know, at midnight that morning. So that way, as soon as we're ready to start that chapter, it's available for you. And it'll work like that for every chapter, including a review for the final during the last week of classes, okay? So here, when you go through it, the easiest thing to me is just click on this little green arrow so you can go through, you know, faster through all the screens because you can just go through them like this. And like I said, it follows along exactly with your book page by page. okay? And the nice thing about this, I give you a little schedule, you know, what I would do, how I would break it down, so that way you're not procrastinating until the end. It's very overwhelming if you do that. Plus, you don't get a lot out of it. If you are scrambling to get 20 VSTAS assignments done, yeah, they only take 5 or 10 minutes a piece, you know, except for some of the harder ones, but crunch down the night before is a lot. You're not gonna remember as much, so try to avoid that. Okay, so when you're going through these, it'll give you some videos, you know, things like that, extra information that is helpful so you can hear the vocabulary and see how it's being used, not just read about it, you know, so it's a little bit more interactive. This first lesson, it reminds you some of these extra things. But it'll give you like contextos. This is the vocab, right? And it'll give you the picture in the book and it'll tell you what pages, if you scroll down, that they are on. Okay, 262, 3, and 4. So then it'll give you a little review you can, you know, log in and do. And then after you finish the section, it has a little reminder. Okay, you've completed a section, and you have homework that goes along with this section. Don't forget to do it. And if you break it down like that, where you kind of work in chunks, it's a lot easier to manage, in my opinion, okay? So that's something about how Learn is set up. Now, under discussions, that's where we're gonna have all of our written compositions. You're gonna post it. Now, on the first one, I had you post responses. I will not be doing that every time. It'll always say in the instructions, okay? So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, say if I wanna go in here and I wanna compose something. Let's see if I can add something. Let me show you how you can add accents. Okay, so down here, I want to compose something. Hola, mis queridos estudiantes, or maybe I want to say compañeros, okay? And we need an ñ. So you can use the codes like we talked about, but here, there's this little symbol key. And so anytime you have a dialog box within D2L, you can always click on this and then find your symbol. Okay, so we're looking for the ñ in this case. And then just click on it. My finger will work right. And then it adds it. Okay, so that's another one. If you cannot remember the codes, you don't have them, whatever, there is another option. Okay, anytime you have a text box like this, you can add it with that symbol. Make sense? Any questions so far? No? Okay. So your quizzes, most of them will show up in content, and it'll be linked directly to the quiz. Okay, when you go to Course Home, also, I just want to point out that your due dates are going to be on there. Okay, so right now the only thing that you have due and learn is the grammar quiz that's for next Friday. Okay, it's just about indirect object pronouns together. So anything when it says availability ends, that's the due date. It'll always be due at 11:59 p.m. Everything that I open up will be at 12:01 a.m. So that way, whatever time of night you're ready, or morning, you know, you want to work on it, it's ready to go for you, okay? So the quizzes, again, under here. The exams will be under here too. So you'll just go, you know, click on them. Like I said, most of them won't be linked, but in case you have any other, you know, worries about it. Another function that we're going to use this semester is the chat function, okay? And the reason we're going to do it, we're going to do it during virtual office hours, because we can do where I'll say, okay, we're going to talk about preterite imperfect. Who has questions? When do we use preterite? When do we use imperfect, right? And then say you typed, okay, I know that we use the preterite when it's a one-time event. I'll say, that's right, that's great. Now, when do we typically use the imperfect? And he will type, we use the imperfect for repetition. And you both can see the responses. Everybody in the class can see responses. So during virtual office hours, we're going to start doing some chat. But remember that everybody can see what you say when you chat on D2L. Okay? What's nice about it is that if you're reviewing for an exam, you can save that information and print it off and use it to review. Or if you're like, wait a minute, what did she say about imperfect? There it is. And you can go back and look at it. Okay? So that's something that we're going to do during virtual office hours. And that's really pretty much it as far as D2L goes. Does anybody have any questions about that?
With the chat thing, does it automatically, like if you show up a little bit late for your office hours during that time,
You
will
should
it
be able
show
to
other
still.
questions that people have asked? That way you're
I
not kind of
think
repetitive?
so. I will find out for sure.
Okay.
As I understand it, when you log in and you go to that chat, because I have to open it up,
Mm-hmm.
and then everybody who wants to, that gets online, can look at it. And as